Any question now?
So, thank you very much, Nick. I suggest that we are going to take questions, and maybe after we have listened to the whole story, we can ask targeting specific presenters. Nick has brought us something about benchmarking, benchmarking the best which you have done, and focusing on your strengths. That is what we are successful. Thank you so much. So let's give a clap, another clap to Nick. I'd like to invite Marcus to please give us your story also. And I would like that we take questions. We are going to ask one of them once they're done. As Marcus takes to the floor, I would like to invite to introduce one of our guests who just arrived slightly late when we were seated. I think what my extreme left, and none other than Professor Omu Azara, University of Nairobi. Let's give a clap to Professor Azara. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Marcus Itau. I'm the head of the laboratory division at a company called UoN Fertilizers. I think quickly I should mention a lot of my peers over here are scientists. I like to think of myself as a technologist. It's a subtle difference, but I'm more concerned with how to produce an effect as opposed to how an effect is produced. So more subtle difference, but important to note. Something else I'd like to touch upon before I begin is the difference between invention and innovation. So invention to us is when something exists for the first time, and innovation is when society decides to adopt that invention. So as I mentioned, my name is Marcus Itau. I'm head of lab at UoN Innovation. UoN Innovation has been working on traditional artificial phase fertilizers in the 1960s. And with time, we slowly evolved our product offering to entail things such as biological fertilizers, also agronomic services, and also consultancy for farmers. So the reason we're here today is because we approached at the University of Nairobi for about 10 years to help us develop our organic lines of fertilizers. And this is when we decided to embark on this journey with them on this story of innovation. And so innovation to us is better to think of it as a system as opposed to a single concept. And this system is made up of multiple actors. So we can, the product I'm going to talk to you about today is a product called Biofix, and it's a biofertilizer. And the four key actors that are important in this process of innovation are the knowledge actors, the industry actors, the market actors, and the government actors. It's also important to note that this innovation is not necessarily a linear process where A happens and then B happens and then C happens. It's something that we're always engaging with the university, we're always engaging with government to see how we can improve some of these technologies that we develop together, and what is the feedback that we're getting to continue to on this speed of technology. So the technology we're talking about today is the product and Biofix solution on the license from the University of Nairobi. And it's quite different from traditional fertilizers in the sense that it's a bacteria that has a symbiotic relationship with the plant. And this bacteria is able to provide the nutrients, nitrogen specifically, directly to the plant. And so it acts in the same manner, or it has the same function as traditional fertilizer. However, there are some key benefits to using this biological process that I think is important to note. The first one is the logistics of the product. Because it's a bacteria-based fertilizer, 150-gram sachet, 150-gram sachet is enough to treat 1 acre of seed, or another way of thinking is 25 kilograms of seed. Now, with traditional fertilizers, to cover that same area, you require 2 bags of 50 kg fertilizer. The price point of 3,500 shillings, assuming on the government subsidy right now. So in total, your cost is coming to 7,000 shillings and 100 kilogram product. On the other hand, on the other side, you have this new biological fertilizer where you've gone from 100 kilograms to 150 kilograms, sorry, 150 grams. So it's quite a difference in product. And also the price point is significantly lower. So we're able to offer a product that does the same job as a traditional fertilizer at a price point of 600 shillings. So you can see on one side we have 100 kilograms at 7,000 shillings. On the other hand, we have the same product, not the same product, you have a product that performs the same function at 600 shillings. So there are some very good benefits to this product, and I think maybe one of the benefits I can highlight is the fact that because you're using a biological-based fertilizer, you're actually improving the fertility of the soils over the long run. So a lot of these traditional fertilizers, I don't know how many people here are farmers, but one story you often hear in the North Rift is people complaining about acidic soils. The reason people have acidic soils is because these artificially based fertilizers tend to be so concentrated and tend to destroy the microbial life in the ground, or increase or raise the pH, and that's why you have this problem of acidic soils. With this product, because it's a biological-based fertilizer, you're actually introducing more microbes into the soil and therefore improving the complexity of the soil. And when you have a more complex soil, it means you're better suited to adapt to, you're better positioned to face shocks. Shocks, I mean things such as drought or maybe excessive water. So there's a lot of benefits that come with using this this new product. However, there are also a lot of challenges, like my colleague over here, Nick, had mentioned, with adopting new technologies. So maybe I can just quickly highlight some of the pain points or the problems that we've had with introducing this product. The first thing is because of the difference in the size of the sachets, the 150 grams to the 100 kilos, it creates quite a steep learning curve. So for someone to go to a farmer and tell them this one sachet here, I wish I had a small example, 150 grams is going to do the same job as the 100 kilograms product. It's a very difficult situation for them to believe. So they have to see it first. And so I think that's one of the biggest pain points that we have is introducing a new product requires a lot of training. Something else that I can acknowledge is that I can also expand on is also the scalability and the market awareness. So unfortunately, one of the biggest pain points that we have is we developed this product with the University of Nairobi with the expectation that we'd be selling it mainly in Kenya. However, because of this lack of knowledge on these sort of inoculants or biofertilizers in the country, we've actually found that in Tanzania and Zambia and Malawi, we're actually selling a lot more products to those countries because governments have played a role in creating that awareness. And so in those countries, we're able to tap into the local government subsidy programs because of the awareness of what these inoculants are. And you don't face the same trouble of having to train a lot of farmers and create awareness about the product. So I think that's a small little brief about what it is that we do and the journey that we've been on with the University of Nairobi. Although I am happy to say that we've scaled our production capacity from 7,000 sachets per year when we first started to over 1 million sachets per year. And so if I just give you a quick example, if you were to put that onto a subsidy program, if you want to target 1 million farmers and provide a cost-effective alternative to a very expensive government subsidy program, we could try to promote to government that says, hey, we understand the budgets for fertilizers on so much here. But here we have a homegrown solution that are able to offer a whole range of benefits, and we can do it at a more affordable rate than the traditional fertilizers. So I think the key takeaway from what I have to say today is creating product awareness.
Thank you very much. Let's give back the clap and good work you are doing about benefits. The point that you are saying is about creating awareness and also the law of language, because the very big impact when there's influence the community is there to adopt and to see the need for these benefits and other products. So thank you very much for that. We are happy that you're also able to go to other countries, which is very, very good for us. I would like us now to invite Dr. Konge.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Gekonge. My background is in food sciences and nutrition, specifically a food technologist. So I'm in agro processing. I have been a student here since my undergraduates all the way to PhD level. And at PhD, I did research on what we call guavas, local Kenyan guavas, which are basically an underutilized species. I find that these crops grow in the wild, but it's highly nutritious. There is no value addition. Surprisingly, you go to our supermarkets and shops, you find South African juices or Egyptian juices made from guavas. So the idea was that we have plenty. In fact, we produce almost 100 million, kgs a year, but none of these are value added. When I was doing my PhD, that is 2018 to 2021, I developed quite a number of products from the same roots, about 10, which we were able to patent, and now we have a utility model for that. So we have guava juices, we have the jam, whole fruit yogurt, all the way to the wines, and that started what we now call tropical wines. We have evolved into other foods. So then we started what we call therapies. Because there was one on this, the other idea was that even if we were to do product development, for example, we didn't get commercial aspects with consumers accept it. So we started doing kind of, let's do market testing. So we package in maybe 300 to 500 liter mLs. You give it at a normal market pricing. Surprisingly, we found consumers who now wanted to, make use of this as a regular product. One of it is because we are also doing it out of research. It is more in terms of good ratio, the nutrient contents in there are highly boosted. So we found that we started getting consumers buying our products at that particular time in 2018. So we decided to start up Pera Foods. If you've been found, you must have seen our tent. So Pera Foods now has evolved beyond the guavas. Even the name Pera is actually from Pera, which is guavas in Swahili. So Pera Foods now processes what we call underutilized foods. One of it is the guavas, which is actually kind of the major product crop. Then we have gone into tamarind, baobab. We are now processing those other areas, crops like the cactus. We are also processing honey from other areas as well. And we are involved also into therapeutic food products. As we speak, I'm very good with the product development and I've actually patented about 25 products. But then we have developed about 50, of course, 19. The rest are still in process of IP registration. But at the moment, what we market is about 14. Which we are with in the market, and by the end of August, we look at having about 6 more so that we have a product portfolio of 20. So now, in terms of business, we have been incubated at the university here since last year, fully gone commercial as an team. I have evolved from 1 employee, and now we are getting about 6 to 8 employees on a daily basis. And one of the things is that now I'm trying to demonstrate that if we can commercialize research, then we can transform the society. How? For example, the resources that we buy, the guavas, think of it, wherever they go, they are actually looked at as a menace. And we buy them, for example, instead of these guys tell you, do not take them, they're actually, useless to us. We buy from anywhere between 20 shillings all the way to 100 shillings, depending on the season. But then when we value add them, that is where the catch is. For example, a kilo of guava fruits, if I was to make wine, it gives me about 4 liters of wine, which I'll sell at 1,000 shillings each, but I'll buy it at 100 shillings a kilo maximum. That is inclusive of transport. So what we've seen is that with the value addition, for example, and then promoting nutritious, safer products, and then backed up by research, we can transform the society by empowering the farmer, and of course engaging logistics from the fields where they grow in the arid areas and the rural areas, and all the way to the factory where we are at. Then at the production site, I'm engaging about 6 other youths, and then now the suppliers. We have evolved from now producing about 2 to 3 hours a day. We are now at the moment requesting the university for a 24-hour production site. And through the works that we have done, we have been able to even attract funding through the university to a tune of about 4.5 million Kenya shillings. And these are now seen as trying to scale up from the idea stage to prototyping. And as we are speaking, we are with all the regulatory authorities, and maybe by August, as we estimate, we will find our products in the supermarkets. In short, now we have also generated in terms of revenue. We have grown from about 50,000 a month to about 2,000%. So in the process, we are able to sustain our operations, pay our employees, restore, pay the farmers. And now we have created a business model out of research-led outputs. And one of the things that the university has done for us is to give us a platform. Of course, when you buy these things, you say, I bought juice from the University of Nairobi. So, and we have shown that if we can now move beyond theory, for example, I should be doing a postdoc somewhere outside this country. I had an offer outside Europe and US, but then I've opted to just put first my knowledge into practice. And I want to put it into the perspective that it is all doable only that we don't know the worth of our ideas unless we execute them. When I was starting earlier, when I was a student, I was trying to convince some investors that, we have this idea and it can be worth these millions. But then someone was looking at it from this point. For example, I'm making mango juice. Someone asks, how will you compete Del Monte? How you go about, for example, the area which people are used to. But then my approach is different because of an innovator. I'm not just doing what is in the market. Our fruit, for example, gives you up to 35% fruit ratio compared to what you get from the market, which is about 5 to 10%, and lots of other chemicals that are added there. And as we speak, since we started the juice line, for example, we've now had families neglecting what is in the market for products. We have gone through social media marketing, and to date now, we are serving thousands of households. And at the moment, even to the highest offices, actually households in the land, our products are consumed by including members of parliament who have gotten a bit of our product. So in short, that's our short story. But then we have our tent out here, Pera Foods. You can visit us, see the number of products that we came with, and get to appreciate what we have, and also challenge my fellow researchers and young students like you who are here, that you can put your ideas into money. Right now, Pera Foods is employing me, it is also employing the 6 youths. As we are speaking, of course, we are now the ones now giving the shots. If a financial comes to us, we decide, this is the much you can give us for us to feel like you are coming up with the tangible input. Otherwise, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. That is very insightful. The issue of value addition is very important. What you are doing, you are creating jobs. And cost effectiveness is very important also. And you have challenged us to move from theory to practice, which I think is something that you are doing yourself. Therefore, so you welcome us to your staff outside there so that you can see what you have there. This thing about making wine from plants. That is very interesting. So let's give another clap to Dr. I want want to invite our professor, Professor Richard. Will they tell us your experiences? I know you are about to tell us what you have been for. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What we're looking for me, I would not say beyond there because I know I was trained in America where you say I'm Richard Rebay and then Professor of Science. If you are in Europe, you say I'm Professor Doctor. So that's how I report in you. But like to go ahead. So I'm so happy to see young people which I consider to be huge innovators. Good to see you. So my story begins from when I was a young researcher for crucial research, and then I was seeing things that were not familiar to me. And then so I consulted with some of the global experts in the area of the future. Oh, I made a book to see a professor in Switzerland who was retired like me. And after visiting him, he listened to me for about 20 minutes. Then after 20 minutes, he wrote 3 books. One book was written by himself, 200 pages. Another book was written in London by a researcher, 300 pages. Then the third one was written by another researcher in UK, London again, 600 pages. So he told me, if what you are telling me is not in these 3 books, then we are ready to learn from you now, because we don't know what you have. So I went back to Zurich, Munich, Germany, where I was based for a few months. And then I realized there's a point in life where everybody has been. Yeah. And it's for you now to decide whether you remain in that dead end or you go beyond the dead end. So that was my time. So now I began to write. And the new research that I was finding gave me an opportunity to do more for 1 year. When I was in London, I was going to go to Brussels and all that. Anyway, leave that for you. So my finding from them, then the dictionary you find that is a global thing. And I discovered one trade in new species in science. So I came back to Kenya and I continued with my research. Now I'm more focused on the problems that face humanity. What I've done for the academic side is that the students that I supervise sometimes also now is to solve an existing problem, but we take it into commercial aspect. Though, when it now comes to the inventions that are gotten and the patents that are done, the first one was in 2008. I'm the one who actually revived Vivatex. One of the producers knows. When I went to Eldoret in 2006, that factory has been closed for 10 years. And it occupies space of 20 acres. From the beginning of the factory to the end, it takes you 1.5 hours. It's 1.5 kilometers. Imagine factory that. And there were 2 you can do some section. So I convinced the government that it was necessary to revive the practice. And within no time, the government approved unique created code for the university for more. The problem came now. We wanted the deadline for current goods. You know the chaos in 2008. We could not buy that anywhere. All the roads were closed, even the airports were closed. And we needed the dye for the clothes, for the industry. So it reached a point where now I had to send the MP of Rivertex to go to Johannesburg. Because in Africa, the place that you buy, the dyes to be distributed to the rest of the Africa is Johannesburg. They get them from Italy, then it goes to Johannesburg, from there it comes to also from India. Those are two sources. So now, when the MD Rivertex went, it was in on the way to South Africa. There was things. So now we could not buy that. They was chasing away Zimbabweans, Nigerians, Kenyans. So he came up with the money, cash, and got it. So I said, now we have a problem, we have no time, and we have the money. So it came to a point where now there was a meeting in India. I said, since India is the supplier to South Africa, then the meeting will be there. And then it was in central India, then I went to buy the dye in Mumbai, Mumbai now in Great Park. So that arrangement was made. I got the money in my pocket. When we finished the conference, I came to Mumbai. Within an hour, there was a bomb. The first terrorist bomb was done in Mumbai. And they closed the airport. Couldn't get out. So now, nobody was allowed. So the next day, I just took the flight to Nairobi. In between, over the Indian Ocean now, I knew now that you can have money. For example, I was sitting now at the plane. I saw a flower. Then I said, where did these flowers get their color? I did with mushroom, I did it. So I said, I'm now going to arrest. I'm going to get these colors in these plants before they come out with flower. And that's what I did. So I came. As soon as I landed, I began to boil beans from all kinds of plants. I was getting. And now, the solution, the problem that we have was now solved. So now we have, so if you go to Rivertex stand now, you will see they are selling clothes, the one that are wearing of different colors, natural dye, what can go down. And it came from my side. You have seen what our former president was wearing every month. There was a new shirt, it came from Rivertex. And the colors from my side. Oh. Then, so that is now for weeks. I also realized that the factories who manufacture tea have just finishing with the dye, then I go to another. The factories that manufacture tea, they disaggregate with dust at the waste. And this dust is collected and thrown away. Sometimes they burn. So I have gone to the factory and I asked, can you give me some time? I've been given the samples, and so the dust which is a waste, I now use it for natural dye. So I drink tea and I wear tea. The shirt you are seeing is for tea. Yes, this is tea. So you go to Rivertex, after you finish your meal, you'll be seeing things which are in. Okay, the direction. Let me go now COVID-19. We had this problem of corona. All of us were sitting around. So now I decided now I'm going to get something that boosts you for all of us. So I came up with mushroom. I have a mushroom that can boost your immunity. And I convinced the pepper to have this combination of mine, this is patented, all which the dye is patented, the tea is patented, no, If you go to Liberty stand now, which is University of Nairobi Liberty School, you will find a package of tea which is being sold in New York. Mushroom tea, because of corona. Or, years ago, before 12. What is the back? After there is what we call teach culture, teach culture for labor, not to teach our for the teach culture, so these scientists, they buy what we call neutral art or neutral medium, which is ideal, which they use now to grow, to start with the tissue. I send my technician to buy. I think in the store, we're waiting to get from China. It takes 2 weeks. And I didn't know, can't do this. So I went down to do the design. 5 weeks ago. Send samples to Nairobi for analysis, was analyzed in the news department. By the time I left where I already knew what the market and the minerals I had. Right now, you go to that stand, you will be seeing a gel which is being used to teach character. You grow much with the name up to me, so the process of putting the market. The commercial one is 2,000 a kilo. Mine will be about, I don't want to say, but it'll be a little bit better. So, young men and women, there is a turning point in your life that can help you. Everybody can be an innovator. You not excluded anybody. All of us are innovators.
Thank you very much, Professor, for that insightful discussion on solving societal problems. That I think we are already solving these problems in many ways. The dye for textiles, the natural dyes, and what is very exciting is really the mushroom tea. That when we are doing, check whether we can test. So thank you very much. Let's give a clap again to Professor. How we change? We change a little bit from a professor to now Maureen 180 from Hawaii, Canada. Please tell us your story. Thank you so much. A clap from Maureen as she tried one.
So good morning. My name is Maureen Waniki, and it's amazing professor. I think that just shows you the potential you may have in the future. So we are looking forward to Professor Maureen. But anyway, that's beside the point. So I'm director of public affairs in UoN Technologies and alumni university, the University of Nairobi. We cannot leave out the one there. And I was just across the building, so I'm an engineer by profession. And the most amazing thing was just coming in and seeing Taifa was having changed. I don't think it looked like this when I was there. And I'm really amazed about how University of Nairobi has really transformed. So I have to give credit where it is before I can actually start Huawei. So as I mentioned, yes, I've been in the engineering space for quite some time. And the most amazing thing is that having been in Huawei for a couple of years, just reminds you of where exactly the organization started. And you can see Huawei, if you can look about the history, is that it's not such an old company. It was initiated around 1987. And so you can tell over the years, the transformations that have happened for them to reach where they are. One of the things is that, I don't know, students, please wave at me. Look like there's a lot of jargon that is being spoken here. So I will try to calm down to bring in the basics. So how many of you participate in Science Congress? Let me go to school now. Science Congress, it's still there, yeah? Yeah? Science Congress, anyone? Okay. Any of you has heard of UoN competition ever? If you go online. Okay, how many of you have ever been online? Let's start from there. You know, let's start. Okay, we meet. Yes, how many of you have been online? Put your hand up. Online, ever, yeah? Yes, so that means that there is still a category that is still not being reached, because that is the scenario that UoN is coming to try and solve. So as I've mentioned is that, and you've heard everyone talking here about what they've talked about, innovations and inventions. And definitely there's a difference between an invention and innovation. The reason why I asked about Science Congress is because, for me, I'll talk about my story to relate it with UoN, is that Science Congress was not one of those things that I really used to bother about. I love science, I love mathematics, but it just wasn't the niche or the in thing that you just want to come for this trip and come to University of Nairobi and not have a lesson. That was the thing that you just want. So you try and come up with something and then you participate. But then one thing is that over the years, you realize that those inventions or those innovations that you come up with in Science Congress are the ones that end up coming into the market. Why? Because during your Science Congress, when you are making a product or when you are making something, you realize there's an opportunity. You realize there's a gap first, and within that gap, you needed to solve that gap. You needed to solve something which ends up becoming an opportunity. And that is how most companies begin. And funny thing is that some people tend to, when they begin Science Congress, they present their projects and later on forget about it. Most companies end up coming and picking those ideas or seeing those ideas and making them into reality. You may have thought, you know what, that's not really an in thing. But at the end of the day, there is later on someone who will see an opportunity in that. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say in that over the years, you need to try and see what is the gap that is there. What do the customers need? Customer is you and I. For you to go to a shop, you need to buy bread. There's already someone like Superlo who realized that there's someone who wants to eat bread, which is you and I. Yeah. And that is why they make the bread. And they realize that there's a gap that people would like to eat bread and a certain kind of bread. So I'm trying to relate it so that I can get to the technology aspect. Huh? So when, as UoN, we continue building solutions, and that is the realization that comes in from 2G to 3G to 4G to 5G. All these things, when I talk about 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, it's not layman by the way. It's just a point. Let me go back to basics. For you to be able to answer a call, you find there's usually, if you ever pick a phone, you will see a small number at the top. It's either written 3G or 4G. Yeah. And now if you move around Westlands and you have a certain kind of phone, you will see 5G. Yeah. What does that mean? It means that over the years, technology has evolved. And UoN was able to establish that I need to make a call between myself and professor so that we can communicate. How many of you ever heard about something called a pager? Pager. Yes. Pagers were there that were used to communicate. Phone booth by telecom. Anyone ever seen, I don't know if you ever visit the railway station I think there's a museum. They show the phone booths that used to be used for people to put coins, and then you make a call to just call someone. Yeah. So over the years, people like Huawei came up and realized I don't need to come up with such major invention. I just need to make sure I need to make a call to him. But I need to make that, I can't walk with a phone booth around. So the pagers came in. The pagers end up becoming that you page someone so that with a short message. And then someone ends up realizing, oh, I need something with a keypad so that I can text. The kabamba is where M-Pesa you see people using. Those then used to be used. Yeah. But over the years, like that, of course, in the between their satellite phones. So there was a gap there, and through that, that is how opportunities were established. And what was the need there? It was the customer need. The customer wanted to just be able to communicate. And they just wanted to be able to walk around with a mobile phone so that they can communicate. And then over the years, someone said, and I think, I don't know, maybe people here might know about it, was Huawei came up with the first, cheapest smartphone, known as anyone right now? Yeah. Ideos. The Huawei Ideos, people used to call it a different name, but it was known as the Huawei Ideos. It used to have multiple colors. I think it was pink, black, yellow, and I think that was the very first time I knew about the Huawei company. But that tells you that it ended up resonating that we need to give people smartphones. At the same time, it needs to be reasonably priced. Yeah. So now there's a lot of competition around that space. So again, we as Huawei realize that we have a customer who needs this particular thing. And then we go back to our R&D and we end up having our research and development. Actually, right now, 22.5% of our sales revenue goes back to R&D. So you can see how big it's becoming. And one of the things that we're trying to even work with, and one of the key areas that we've even partnered with one of the universities, is that we've come up with an IoT lab where people are able to come up with key innovations so that they can also come out and be brought out. Yeah. We also partner together with even University of Nairobi. When we talk about the developments that are coming out, some of these developments are coming out through things like ICT competition. So right now we have a team that is going to China on Sunday to go and compete globally. So they're going to compete with other countries just for what they brought up during the competition. So they just came up like a science congress. They came up with a solution, a difficult solution that they think they can be able to go and present globally and compete with other countries. So you see, there's already an opportunity. And through that, you're able to guide the students through all the step-by-step in terms of whether it needs to become something, a product, whether it needs to become a service. So over the years, that is how you end up understanding that innovations and inventions are very important. Now, another key thing is that I wanted to say that with Huawei, we try to also support, like now, that's why I asked, how many people have been online? Online means that you're on the internet. We have situations where we are going to schools and we are connecting schools to the internet. Why is that? It's because we need to make sure that some of these innovations don't start from the university. They start all the way from primary, coming up to secondary, and then now to the university, which then gives confidence for you to even compete all the way from primary. Yeah. So how are you able to see other countries? The solution that maybe might be coming up with might even be a solution that someone else has already done. But through the internet, you're able to see on YouTube, probably someone else having done it. Maybe you can do it slightly different and be able to make it something that can come out. It can give you a product that even can earn you money. These days, COVID taught us so well. And it's funny how we used to do online meetings way back from where I think 2014, 13. But then when COVID hits, everyone trying to understand how do you connect to an online meeting. And you're trying to ask people, but it is very ordinary. What is common sense to you is not common sense to someone else. Yeah. So what you may think is common sense for an opportunity is not no more common sense to someone else. So your opportunity might be creating an actual product or service to someone else. Yeah. And that is where you end up addressing a problem. Okay. So in terms of that, those are some of the things that Huawei does. And then one of the things that I just try to analyze is around artificial intelligence. And with Huawei and partnering with universities like University of Nairobi and others, is that we've done over 50 plus partnerships with universities and TVETs so that we can have the chance to support in terms of the digital skilling. So if it's giving certifications, if it's training to get certification in things like artificial intelligence, cloud computing. So artificial intelligence in layman is something that supports you in terms of doing something. Let me use this, something that can predict what you're able to do. Yeah. So people are able now to develop. People are talking about what we call. How many of you know about ChatGPT? Let me use that. ChatGPT. Yeah. Yes. So I can see, but in the schools. Yeah. So going back to ChatGPT. Now I will just try to bring in the niche before I can actually conclude. Is you ask the computer something, it gives you a response. So I ask it, who is Maureen Waneki? And it will pick information from different sources about who is Maureen Waneki, and it will give me an analysis of who exactly I am. It can actually do that. So that is artificial intelligence. It's able to have this level of intelligence to pick out and give you an answer based on what you have asked it. So people are developing to see how can it be able to support you in terms of solutions. So sometimes, okay, of course, ChatGPT is not overly reliable, and that is the education part, Professor. Most people are thinking they can do the researches on it, but it's something that gives you a direction of knowing what you want to do. So one of the things is that as Huawei, we are trying to come up with products, and if you see our category, we have a consumer category which has the smartphones, smartwatches, all these things, and then we have and under the consumer, we also have the intelligent vehicle, the intelligent devices. So one of the things is that we're able to come up with certain chips that support in terms of intelligent driving, yeah, and which is what is going to be the future using the 5G technology, yeah. And now people are talking about 6G. And then we have the carrier business. So carrier means that for you to make that call, we call it the wireless solution. So that is something that is also developing. And out of that, through artificial intelligence, it will help us know some of the systems in terms of how can it help our customers to predict the data analysis. Right now, data is the most expensive thing that a company can have. Yeah. And in addition to that is also on the enterprise. What are we able to do? Right now, we're talking about digital power. While I was in University of Nairobi, I never thought that we'd be talking about digital power. Digital power, something that can do a couple of things in a certain way and reduce cost. It can predict how power fluctuates. I never knew that could ever happen. But now that someone saw an opportunity there and actually did it and actualized it, now we are talking about digital power in most systems. Yeah. So digital power helps that it can predict the patterns of power failure in a certain building. So it will always have a backup that every time at Friday at 2 p.m. power disappears, it will always have started the backup process earlier than that. So it has a combination of, it can be able to predict using artificial intelligence, and now you have the actual reducing the cost of power. Just to wind up is that some of the most, if not all times, yeah, we tend to find ourselves online, and you will find yourselves online. Please, the ones who did not lift up their hands, you are soon coming to the online platform. So you're not going to be, you're not going to be non-existent in that space. So somehow, either it will reach you or you reach it, one or another. But the problem is happening is that people are not using the internet in the right way. So people are going online, not using it for proper use. And you find things like cyberbullying and cyber, or people getting like ransomware. You're asked to, you have data. Remember, saying the most expensive property in a company is data right now, because it helps you predict certain behaviors or certain within the market. So you find people steal the data. As recent as one of the supermarkets, that is what happened. Actually, one of the universities happened that. So they block you, so you cannot do anything within the organization. You can't do any transaction, you can't do this. That is the situation. So they ask for money. So someone will ask for money so that they can give you back that data. So that is known as ransomware. So people are able to know at what point do I know this? I can click on something and it's actually not the right thing. So you'll be told you've just won $1 million. Of course, you didn't participate in any competition or in any gambling, which should not be the case. But then you realize an email has come in, and then you see, oh, you just won $1 million. Please click here and you will redeem the $1 million. So of course you're excited, you've never heard about what happens. $1 million and you've done nothing. So you click. And that's how they end up getting all your information. So by the time people like us who maybe link your credit cards, you link your things that you buy online, you realize they can pick all that information and they can actually siphon in, let's say, money from your account without you knowing. The advantage is that these days you have alerts from the bank. So one of the things is cyber security is very important. And child online protection in partnership with Communication Authority is assisting people to understand that people need to be online safely. And how are you online safely? Is that you're taught what are the things to be careful about. And even Huawei has come up with a cybersecurity solution known as anti-ransomware, where it separates your data and helps you be able to protect your data as an organization. So if you're a university, if you're a school, because even schools right now are being targeted. If you're a school, you're able to separate that data. And at the end of the day, within the organization, you're actually safe. So I think I think my time is also up, but I'm hoping that there'll be some questions related to exactly what Huawei does. And we're there, I know, yes, we're a Chinese company, but in terms of localization, we have a lot of things, and we really want to partner even with schools to support, come up with inventions and innovations so that we can help you move a step further. We are moving now from university, now we're moving to secondary and primary. And we're hoping that in future we shall have something known as digital competitions where people are able to present some of these solutions, digital solutions. So with that, thank you.
Wow, thank you very much for that very insightful presentation. We are happy with what your company is doing in terms of connecting people. You have mentioned the importance of investing. That 2.5% is not little money, which your company is putting into that. And that is where you're able to respond to the various changing technological advances. What got me is the issue of the data. Data is expensive. Area that we need to do. So we need to invest in data and be able to get that is accurate and also reliable so that we can make decisions. And the issue of cyber security. That is very important in this space where you are, and I think that your company is addressing some of these issues. So thank you very much. Let's give a clap again to Madam Queen. Now, to Professor Zala, one of our researchers, the University of Nairobi. Let's give a clap to Professor here. I'd like him to introduce himself and maybe tell us something about the research work that you are doing, how is it patented and all. Thank you so much, Prof.
Yeah, thank you so much, and I'm glad to be here. As we've been told, I'm home and Thailand. I'm a professor at the University of Nairobi. I'm a medical doctor, graduated from the University of Nairobi here some time ago. I'm a medical doctor. And then at the time, I went on to do other things and then specialized in pathogens and immunology, that is viruses and immunology. And I know many times when people hear a medical doctor, they always think of those who manage patients. But for us, we are actually in the business of research and development. Once I finished training, I came back to the University of Nairobi, and we established a research institute, which is called CAVI, Institute of Clinical Research. This is 25 years ago. So we are located at Kenyatta National Hospital. That's where the School of Medicine, the Faculty of Medicine, the University of Nairobi is. So should you ever be working there, you will actually be able to see CAVI ICR. That is the institute we established way back then. But I'd like to show by show of hands, is there anyone here who has never received a vaccine? Anyone who has never received a vaccine, put up your hand. Anyone? So it clearly tells us that we are all beneficiaries of what? Of vaccine. All of us are beneficiaries of it. And our story starts here in Nairobi, in Majengo. I was still a student actually at the University of Nairobi. When we started, I got an opportunity to start working with the researchers from the University of Manitoba in Canada. And they were working in Majengo looking at sexually transmitted diseases. And in time, there was an emergence of HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, and subsequently AIDS. And AIDS has been with us for the past 50 years. That's where now my story actually starts. And as I finished medical training, came back to the university, and I went on training to understand viruses, to understand immunity. And around 1999, 2000, we actually developed our first HIV vaccine. And at that time, I was working at the University of Oxford. We patented two vaccines. A DNA vaccine, DNA just means nucleic acid. And then another type of vaccine we call MVA, which is vector vaccine. So I'm not going to those details. The challenge is that we still don't have an HIV. But we have that patent, we never commercialized that patent, but that patent has actually been the patent that has actually assisted a lot of researchers to come up with some of the vaccines that are actually available today. So the story is that how do you develop a vaccine? What do you need, and what are the skills that one requires to actually develop a vaccine? The skill one needs to understand is actually a lot of laboratory medicine. We spend a lot of hours in the lab understanding the pathogen, that is the infectious disease itself, and understanding the host, which is the human. And in between there, we also do a lot of animal studies to be able to actually bring a vaccine into development. So I'll give you an example. We now have two vaccines that are critical for malaria. It has taken over 100 years to get a malaria vaccine. All right? Then people ask, why was COVID vaccine discovered so quickly? It is because of the research and the background that we have built over the years. The technology that is being used now for COVID vaccine, the nucleic acid, actually that is one of the patents of the DNA vaccine. We actually patented with the University of Oxford, the University of Nairobi, way back in 2001. So the technology is not new, but what has helped is exactly what you say, development. Movement from where we were, where we are. The story as to why we don't have HIV vaccine is for another day. It's for another day. HIV is extremely complicated virus. Very, very complicated. All right? Malaria is also a very complicated parasite. And that's why it has taken actually very long. So, viruses, bacteria, and fungi, and these are the categories of infectious pathogens. Where you don't see a vaccine is actually one, either there's no market value, all right, to make that vaccine, or two, scientists have been looking for that vaccine, but the pathogen is so complicated, there is actually no vaccine to, right? So our story has gone on. Now we are still in it. We are still looking for an HIV vaccine. We have not found it. It is complicated. But we have also been able to look for other viruses and vaccines. For example, we are now looking for a virus for dengue. Maybe some of you have never heard of a dengue virus, but a dengue virus presents like malaria. You have fever, you have joint pains, you have headache. In fact, those of you who come from the coast will actually tell you, if you see fever, the chances are it is not malaria, the chances are it is what? Is actually dengue. So we have moved on to now look for other things. We are now developing a vaccine for dengue with our colleagues from India. It's called the Institute of Biological Sciences. We have moved on. We have an mRNA platform. The vaccine is now in animal studies, and the hope is that once we reach a certain level, we can then be able to move it into humans to begin the processes of human. So, to cut the story short, you start with a pathogen, and then you understand what the pathogen is doing when it infects the humans. You bring those two together, then you develop what we call an immunogen. Then that immunogen is what is meant to elicit an immune response. At that time, it's not a vaccine yet. Then after that, you develop that immunogen. You now start doing animal studies, small animals. After that, you move to non-human primates. These are monkeys. If all those things work, then now you go to a pharmaceutical company to tell it, can you make for me a human-grade product that I can now move to preclinical trials. Preclinical is now in animals. If that works, you now move to humans. It is not a vaccine yet. It is still an investigational product. Then you do a phase 1. Then you go to phase 2. Then you go to phase 3. All those phases must be accomplished. You are now looking for efficacy. Once you finish, is when now you see the vaccine is effective. Then now you go to the last study, phase 4, where you look for effectiveness. And effectiveness, you are asking, can we produce this commercially? Is it cost effective? Can I transport this vaccine from one place to the other without it losing its potency? So this is the business we do at the University of Nairobi at Cardiff Institute. So we have one patent, two patents for the HIV, and then now we are in the process of developing a third patent of the dengue virus vaccine with our colleagues in India. So vaccines are very important. We have contributed quite a bit to what is going on with COVID, and I'm surprised that there was a lot of hesitancy in the uptake of COVID vaccine. I'm not going to ask who has taken and who has not taken, but what I know is that we are hovering around 40% uptake, meaning that a lot of Kenyans are still very hesitant in actually taking the vaccine. But what I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the vaccines that are authorized vaccines are on the market are safe because we go through a very rigorous process to actually move the vaccine to the market. All right? So the difficulty, when you will hear, and maybe in another 4 or 5 years, if all goes well, if it doesn't go well, maybe in another 10 years, we may actually have an HIV vaccine because a lot is actually being done. But we need vaccines for other things as well, other than just HIV. We need vaccines for dengue. Maybe of you have not heard of dengue. We need vaccines for Rift fever. We need vaccines for yellow fever. Not too long ago, there was a problem with what? With a school in Kakamega, isn't it? An outbreak, all right? Those are the things we want to be able to deal with. What we know that is going on in Bukumu is actually the food is not a problem in Bukumu. The problem was contamination with the sewage. And there are two pathogens that are causing problems there. One of them we call E. coli, another one we call salmonella. We need vaccines for those kind of problems. So I like the young people who are here. When you think medicine, don't only think surgery, don't only think pediatrics, don't only think obs-gynae, okay? Think of going into medicine to do research for, to do R&D and to innovate and also to what? Create new products. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor, for that discussion about vaccines. You've said it can take up to 100 years to come up one, just one. That is very important news to us. But it took just 1 or 2 years to do one for COVID-19 or something. But you have explained. The important point you have mentioned is that vaccines are safe. And therefore, we need to take them without any worries. And that is very important. The process you have explained and the encouragement of the students. If you want to hear that story, how do we become researchers in that area? You don't just become a doctor to treat patients. You can only be involved in finding their solutions in terms of the various vaccines. So then, let's give another clap to Professor before I invite questions to the presenters who are here, there is one very important stakeholder, the one who registers all those innovations we are talking about. They need to be registered to get the right to be protected. And we have a representative from KIPI, and this is Stanley Asali. Could you be able to come over here? Let's give a clap as in hands. I'd like to invite you just to make a few remarks about this, and then we can ask questions and we'll all be done. Thank you very much. Karibu sana. Karibu sana again. Stanley, this gentleman seated next to me is Senior Patent Examiner at KIPI. And I'd like you to just make a few remarks about this process of registration. How do we go about it? Are we succeeding about that? And what is the importance? Why should we be patents? He's asking for how long, I think he's saying this will be appreciation. We allow 5 minutes maybe. Thank you, sir. Yes, I think so.
Thanks for the opportunity to talk to that brilliant minds. You are the solution holders for the current generation. And let me recognize my teacher here, Professor Mbe. So we are the products of the products. Now, let me just talk about the concept of IP. And I may start by a small story, Professor Mbe relates to. Sometimes in Michigan University, where they try to train us on IP issues, I learned one thing that I like sharing with such communications. That Michigan University, in 1 year, they patent more inventions than all African universities combined, from Cape Town, Cairo. One university in 1 year can patent more inventions than the whole of African universities combined. But my university would have go there. So what does that mean to the young ones who are here? It means that we have to do something. Assuming that what Professor Anzala has been saying, each vaccine can be a solution, can an industry, can be whatever. So can you imagine if one university has more inventions than all African universities? We have now that. So that's the essence of intellectual property rights. Now, thank God that in Kenya, we are very lucky. In fact, we are case studies for other countries. Main reason being that intellectual property rights is recognized in our constitution. No other country has done that, so we should be very happy to clap for ourselves. But we have recognized IP into our constitution. And for this is the first question on Monday in school. Which part of the constitution provides for protection of IP? There are 4 main parts. The first one is Article 11. It links intellectual property and our culture. Then the second one is 40.5, which recognizes IP or intellectual property as property, just like a car, land, or anything else. And then Article 69 links intellectual property to our genetic sources, so that with any good access our genetic source and maybe accepted knowledge, then we should also protect the IP coming out of it. So those are the 3 provisions. So Article 11 linking IP as 40 recognizing IP as property, 9 linking IP and sources and our traditional knowledge. Now, due to lack of time, let me just say that there are 3 arms of intellectual property rights. We call them 3 sisters. I'm representing one sister. Industrial property rights is one of them. The second sister is the copyrights and intellectual rights. The third one is the breeders' rights. So I can only talk about in industrial, but if copyrights were here, we can go for Kenya Copyright Board. They'll talk about the importance of copyrights and intellectual rights. And next time we shall be able to bring on board the countries who are handling the breeders' rights. But there's a gap. We're only talking about plant breeders. So Sanibay says that we can also have something about animal breeders, because we have got smart traditional animal breeds that people are just working in and working out with the genetic sources, including on them. And because we don't have an IP regime, it goes uncovered. So industrial property, we talk about around 4 aspects. Professor Ndana has mentioned the one, which is the patents. Patents are technical solutions, technical problems affect society, within agriculture, environment, construction, everything. So solution, technical problems affect society come as patents. And the result of R&D, focus research and development to identify a particular solution in a particular area. Like during COVID, they were researching very nicely on that. And I think that's why we made that solution. And I can say I've taken all the And so the second one is utility models. And they say that Africa, as a developing country, Kenya, UNs are our best asset because we seem to we buy machines from different areas, but when we try to work in Kenya, we realize that we need to improve on it. So any small improvements you do on any technology that you have imported, you can easily earn yourself utility model. So that one is where our guys are doing very well. They fabricate, they improve, and we protect the improvements on their technologies. And the third one is the industrial design. You realize that after pros have done all those things, they have to be packaged. They have to be packaged before they are transported to any other place. So packaging the finished product needs industrial design. So even if it's a car, you realize about the bench of the whatever. So it's a machine moving from point A to B, but the finished article, the finished aesthetics of the actual industry is protected by industrial design. And then, of course, after all that, you must give it a name. So if it's a good, you give it a trade name. If it's a service that you have to Nairobi, then you give it the service name. Even if God doesn't the key, the first thing you do is to name it. So the technology is a very good thing. Once you come up with it, you expect it to practice to identify you with this. Now, patents, the best thing that you should do, and the challenge that you normally have is you have to draft the specification. After you have drafted the specification, you bring it to KIPI. The application fee is 3,000. Then after some time, it will go through what we call substantive examination. You pay 5,000, then you shall be able to identify whether it's new, that's novel, inventive, non-obvious, and industrial applicable. Most cases, industrial application passes because definitely something that they apply to industry. The challenge comes on obviousness. So if it's a patent, it must be new, not be obvious, that's industrial applicable. Fee 3,000, substantive examination 5,000. It's protected for 20 years. But after the second year, they sort of called annuities. So don't just want to protect unless you are able to maintain this. That's where the issue is. Then utility model, also like a patent, you have to have the specification drafted. Application is 1,000. Then it does not undergo substantive examination because we believe we have improved on some of the technology, and its protection is for 10 years. It also has some annuities for 10 years. Then industrial design. The finish, that's the most beautiful invention. Now you're giving your article the use that it serves. That one will protect for 15 years, 5 times 3, application is 3,000. Then, of course, some little changes for the 15 years. And then the marks, you must give it a name, Panado, whatever. So, and all in trading, if you're either trading in goods or in services. So if you're trading in goods, then you give the trademark and certificate service. Now, back to our constitutional provisions. Our communities have a lot of knowledge in form of traditional knowledge. Our scientists have got a lot of technology on how to add value. We are urging you that due to constitutional provisions, even our grandmothers are inventors. And Dr. Andala will tell you that during COVID, so to say, these people were expecting after to die more than they expected. They were saying, no, they're not dying as much as we thought. God will do that. But other than God, we realize that our traditional medicine played a big role. So we should also acknowledge it. We should find a way of bringing it into mainstream technology. It's our strength, it's our heritage. It's been passed over from to us in the generation. It does within our ecosystem, in our forest, in our traditional knowledge. It's also a powerhouse. India is benefit from it. China is the powerhouse on herbal medicine. If you have got more and more knowledge, how can China play in our industry? We should be able to also do something on that. Now, the importance of IP in university. We realize that we collaborate has been very economic on some story. in total, in fact, their issue is the one that made us to start thinking of each university developing an IP management office. So it's your product that you also developed on at first, the institution to have an IP management office, and you have encouraged all other public universities not to go the way we were, because we realized that these people are smarter than us, and they have done a lot of investment in IP management. So each university has an IP management office to moderate and help put together the researchers, the university funding, and how you commercialize. So you will never, and we are an hypothesis that any university without an IP management office will never patent, will never commercialize. So we don't want to go that direction. We expect that each university or public institution will have an IP management office that will harness all this knowledge that we have into inventions and then into commercialization. Because that office is the one that will help in license. The importance of invention, don't patent if you're not ready to commercialize. It's expensive, go to that money. And the first step would be commercialization. You cannot commercialize without a patent, which is the model or a. And then the government also, let me take this time to warn the inventors who don't commercialize, because Section 72 of the Industrial Property Act requires that 3 years after application, you find that product in the right property, or 2 years after grant, you find it in the right place. Otherwise, you can come in for compulsory license. Like if you have got a very good vaccine on COVID, if you're not commercializing, you should just if you come from it by force, of course you'll pay something. So the essence is that we should innovate and create solutions to problems in our. I think now the big one, maybe for the administrators, we have to patents create and protect markets. So if profit protect in Kenya alone, you're going to protect that in Kenya. So we encourage you to know that there is more than you can do beyond Kenya. So in KIPI, we are exceeding office for a regional application. It's mainly administered in Zimbabwe. It's the African Regional Development Organization. So if land protection is beyond Kenya, you can also transmit the same application to you who are able to extend to the other African. If you are beyond Africa, you are still receiving offer for the World Economic Organization, the Euro, you can extend it to one other matters. So in essence, patents are monopolistic. We protect, like we told you, it can take 100 years to get a vaccination. We have to protect that time and money that is spent for the 100 years, and we give monopolistic protection for 20 years for a patent, 10 years we give models in financial design so that you can be able to recoup your investment. Then another thing where we have trade growth so much, we should be able to have our own past manufacture. Once that we have a past manufacture, what we believe, we shall be able to make other flexibility that are needed. Like if your patent expires today on HIV, it does not stop him or any other person from working on it. Only that we shall avoid using your trademark. And that's the essence. That's why we say that patent or PPP is a technology transfer industry. Every day there's a new technology that's falling into public domain. What it means is that if you've got ability, you can come to PPP, download the whole thing, work on it, and provide a solution to our market. So that is it. Once the patent has expired, does not mean that it comes up to lips. It's only that we are protecting profit now we are allowing any other and also negative. And that's the way in that organization. More stories, maybe we can have some more time, some other time, but for now, I'm leaving the question. That's what I'd like to share with you from Kenya, and that's what I really admire.
Thank you very much. Let us have a practice on the floor, just in case a question is asked. Thank you very much, Asadi, for that. That is very insightful. We are very informed now in terms of the process of registration, and this is very important because we need to protect the ideas, we need to protect the inventions. They cost money, they cost time. So I think it's good that we need to engage with the researchers and with all of us. And you have seen it's a legal process. So the law can require that you are forced to commercialize. You don't just register and keep it in your small room. Let me invite, open the floor to all of us, comment, a question to any of the persons here. Anybody? Oh, you can ask, okay, okay.
With the evolving market and the Gen Zs who are coming up with so many solutions, how is keeping up with the new digital solutions, which end up being in the market for say what? Sometimes you find they make money for like a month, 2 months, 5 months, and then they disappear, they remodel again. How is Kippy being agile around those kind of solutions? Maybe I think that's what I still need to get, because maybe from your definition, it is more product service, long-term, 100 years, 5 years, 10 years. How agile are you around that particular space? Thanks.
Yes, please introduce yourself, then you can ask the question.
I thank you. I really appreciated the panel and all the discussions. I am Professor Bozzi, International Coordinator of the International University Network on Cultural and Biological Diversity, established under the agreement with the United Nations. It's a pleasure to comment the different very interesting remarks. First of all, starting from left, intellectual property rights. There is a huge debate about intellectual property rights and the potential of the global South and African countries, balancing the interest in the protection, intellectual property rights, and the interest of the global South to have access to information, sharing information in order to develop the global South endogenous capacity for inventions and after that innovations. So this high debate is at international level, at national level. I represented our network and I have participated in many years in a WIPO intergovernmental working group on 3 issues: on genetic resources, traditional knowledge, and folklore. And the African region has a strong position to limit intellectual property rights to such extent, to protect intellectual property rights in the global South, but also to limit the power of intellectual property rights in companies that don't allow to share information and knowledge and don't allow access to information and knowledge for the development of knowledge and science in the global South. One, a second, for sharing products that can save life. And we know very well the huge debate about the vaccine in the pandemics, COVID, and the huge debate about the limits and the damages intellectual property rights resulted in relation to the high protection in the USA. This one is a wonderful debate. We know very well there are contradictory positions, But I wanted to highlight the position of the Global South and the region, on the African region on these issues. Second, in relation to traditional knowledge and genetic resources, the specific field of traditional knowledge and genetic resources, of course, there is an absolute need to protect traditional knowledge with special regards to traditional medicine, natural products, and this one is another lack at international level that is very, very important. Very briefly, I don't want to be long. I appreciated also so much your presentations in relation to organic fertilizers and new natural products. Three very brief questions about. Have you considered during the development of your innovative products and processes? Because we can innovative products, innovative processes, and innovative market, new niches. There are three kinds of innovations in this sector. I am an economist and attorney at the same time. My field is innovation and environment. So, have you considered during these processes, first of all, sustainability and environmental aspects, and second, social innovations? Social innovations are very, very important and are innovations that want to satisfy social needs. So the combination of these three aspects in the development of processes and products is very, very important for our society. This question is in relation to organic fertilizers and natural products, and the involvement also of youth farmers in relation to these new niches of markets, new knowledge generations on the basis of sustainability, social need, social markets. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Another one, another one. Yes, that one, and then we can give a response. We are just about to take a break.
Good morning. I have a question on vaccine manufacturing, and the professor has made a key point on HIV vaccine. And we all know that we have HIV-1 and HIV-2, and under HIV-1 and HIV-2, we have different serotypes. So I was asking, how are they going to maneuver so that they can produce a vaccine that is going to be both effective and both economic? Like, how will they interrogate all those serotypes and the different strains of HIV-1 and HIV-2 to make a good vaccine?
Thank you. Let me invite Asali. You can give a response. I think Maureen asked a question. Then we invite you, Bwana Ngugi, to respond to his questions. And lastly, Asali, you may maybe comment on the HIV and all that, the way she has just asked. Please start with you.
Thanks, Maureen, for that question. Maybe most of you don't know how Kipi was born. Kipi was born because of Kemri. When they were able to attempt the first HIV solution, then the late Mzee Moi was very happy and excited that somehow Kenya was making waves and we were having our first HIV medication. Then he said, why can't you commercialize it? And he was told, no, we have to patent it first. Then he said, why can't you patent it? He said, no, but it has to go to UK. So that's around 1999. So for you, I would like you to know that what you're talking, what we are doing right now is something that has taken quite some thinking and deliberate steps. So Mzee Moi created Kipi at Kangemi when he was buying some fruit. He said, no, it can't go to to UK. Let's create our own institution, and then that's how KIPI was born. So KIPI was born as a result of HIV. So for those of you who don't know, we were created because we didn't want to continue protecting our inventions in the UK, our former colonizers. So that's how KIPI came. Now to Maureen, digital solution. Just like I've said, we are learning step by step. And I normally take this chance to say, I confess, we made a blunder somewhere due to lack of understanding. That's why we didn't benefit as much as we wanted from M-Pesa as a solution. And Prof was my teacher. You can confess, during our days, we didn't have computers. So he knew my bad handwriting. But now, because of computers, you can't know. So there are things that have changed. So initially, we were treating that one as a method of doing business. Most of the e-commerce issues were not protected. But as insiders, we are pushing for change of law so that we say that for interest of our country, due to e-commerce, some of the things that we thought are just things to do with business can also be inventions. So that's the dilemma we are in. It's not yet clear, but we are trying to create clarity so that all digital solutions are patented. But right now, it's not very clear because they can appear like a method of doing business. And it's just, we need some lawyers to help us to make it clear that if we need it, like you cannot protect a method of treatment in Kenya because we wouldn't want to go and ask Prof for permission to treat. So that's a strategic move. But in Australia, where I was trained, they protect. So it all goes with the national interests. So if e-commerce is our national interest, then we should create avenue for protection of inventions in that digital space. We are not doing very well, but I normally tell my applicants, don't make it, it's just the way you claim. Make it an application enabling something. Yes. If it's an application that enables something in that digital space, I'll grant that part. I'll help you, in fact, to get it, because that's the way. Because our law is not yet clear. We should come out clear. That's why we need partnership with many people to come. Like I've mentioned, we are not clear on digital solutions. We are not even talking about animal breeders' rights. And now I'll combine that one with the gentleman there, Prof. Global South and Global North. Global, what he's talking about is the developed world and us developing. They are very keen on protecting technologies, and they're they're not very keen in access and benefit sharing. They want to access our genetic resources that we have protected for generations, but they're not very keen to acknowledge that we have been conserving it and we have been adding value to our genetic resources. So that's a big debate, but we are lucky. Don't worry about what he's saying. It's sorted in our constitution. That's why it was deliberately put in the constitution, deliberate, I said. So Article 11, 40.5 and 69 are talking about traditional knowledge and genetic sources. The topic is talking about. And in WIPO is being handled under the Intergovernmental Committee, where KIPI is a very key stakeholder, and I'm one of the negotiators. We are saying that as much as we are going to allow access to our traditional knowledge and access to our genetic sources, they have an obligation to acknowledge the source of that knowledge and the source of that resource, so that by the end of the day, if you have got a patent, we are able to participate in benefits. So that's the way. Even if I'm not there, anybody going there, just say, access our traditional knowledge and our genetic resources, and also be able to share the benefits that you get out of it. So the product of the constitutional provisions in Articles 11, 40.5 and 69 is an act of parliament that's called the Traditional Knowledge and Cultural Expressions Act of 2016. It was reviewed in 2018, and is the one taking care of that. Each county government has an obligation to document, digitize all its traditional knowledge, its owners, and their genetic sources. And it's from that we shall use. It will be our database to know that if Professor Anzana is working on Luya traditional knowledge, he has quoted in the patent that this herbal medicine was produced using the Luya knowledge and the genetic source from Kakamega. I think that's what I can say for now. The others can add.
Okay, I'm sure there was a few questions from the floor. There was about 4 different points that you raised. The first one was not just innovation of the product, but also innovation of the process. And I like to think we have successfully been able to innovate our process. So when we first began the journey with the university, a lot of the equipment that we had a capacity of producing only 50,000 sachets per annum. With grant funding from companies such as organizations such as USAID, we have been able to scale this production up to about 1 million sachets per year, and so that's with the goal of being able to target 1 million different farmers. And that's an example of how we've been able to innovate in not just the product but also the process. Your second point was about sustainability and environment. At our laboratory, we have two priorities. Priority number one is to make sure that our farmers are benefiting from a return on investment. Because a lot of the farmers that we deal with tend to be small scale farmers or even medium scale farmers. And we want to partner with them on not just being a simple one-time solution for them. We want to have a lifelong client. And our number one responsibility to them is to make sure we're making a return on investment for them. Number two, priority number two for us is also making sure that we're taking care of the globe. So the environment is a very important factor for us, which is why we ventured into producing these organic fertilizers. And some of the other core activities we do at our laboratory is also conducting soil tests. So we try to promote to our farmers the importance of improving their soil conditions. And at the same time, we also see possibility for things like storing carbon into the soil, where we are innovating in making sure we're able to assess that. And therefore, when you scale up to our network of all the different farmers that we're working with, we're able to measure, because I think it's very important to make sure that you're measuring the soils to see, evaluate the kind of impact that we're having on our end customer. So there's no good just providing a product that you're saying is organic and is improving the soil fertility or the soil conditions, and there's no way that you're able to actually measure it. The third point was about societal needs. So I think from here, it's more important to take a macro observation as opposed to looking at the individual farmer. So as I said, the product that we've developed here with the university, this 150 gram sachet, it cost the farmer around 600 shillings. But if we look at it, 600 shillings compared to the alternative, which is costing them 6,000 shillings, let's call it. At the individual level, that seems pretty good. But when you start to scale it up and put it into pictures of a bigger context of 1 million farmers, government is currently complaining about the fact that they don't have enough money in their budget to be able to expand on their fertilizer subsidy scheme. But here we have a proven product that works, and we scale up this sachet to 1 million farmers, so small scale farmers, each working with 1 acre. And you look at the cost of trying to provide fertilizer to those 1 million farmers, the total budget that it would cost government to reach 1 million farmers is $5 million. Whereas if you were to do the traditional fertilizers, which we've already mentioned are harmful to the soil, you're looking at a budget of over $70 million. And so that's the key message, that I think there's a big gap. I think there's a societal solution. It's just how do we go about implementing that solution is one of our biggest problems. And the fourth point you mentioned was about the youth in agriculture. That's a very a lot of the farmers that I work with usually tend to be a lot older than me. I think most farmers in this country, the average age is around 40. And so there is there certainly is a need to make agriculture more attractive to the youth, but we also can't deny the effects of urbanization. There are a lot of young people growing up in rural Kenya with no drive to want to stay where they are. They're very keen to move into bigger cities, be it Nakuru, be it Eldoret or Nairobi or Mombasa. And so it's definitely something that needs a lot of attention on how we can make farming more attractive, and making sure we're utilizing some of these more rural landscapes. Although, another alternative is also to shift away from small scale based agriculture and places a lot more emphasis onto large tracts of land, which is what's happening in Galakunu and a lot of these other large agricultural projects that the government is also looking into. So there are other options available, but yes, it's tricky to make more rural attractive.
Professor Hanzala, maybe you can comment on HIV.
Yeah, let me comment on the issue of the HIV. For those maybe who are not familiar, HIV, we have two types. We have HIV-1 and we have HIV-2. What has caused major problems globally is HIV-1. We find it everywhere, but HIV-2 seems to be confined within West Africa. We have been looking for HIV-2 in Kenya for as long as I've been doing HIV work, but we have never really seen HIV-2 in this country. Then when you concentrate on HIV-1, there's again very interesting approach to the epidemiology of HIV-1. We find that HIV-1 has subtypes that are geographic specific. For example, the South Africa, Zimbabwe, and those countries have what we call subtype C. When you come to Ethiopia, there's another subtype we call subtype C prime. When you come to East Africa, we have actually 3 types of HIV circulating. We have subtype A, subtype D, and a combination of subtype A and D. When you go to West Africa, you have a variety of subtypes, and some of them that are combined. And the question that is being asked is actually the elephant in the HIV world research. Because all those subtypes are similar, but not the same. And the struggle now is to look at all those subtypes and ask, what are the common regions that don't mutate within those subtypes? And then go and ask, are these common regions in all these subtypes? And then the next thing is that, are these common regions able to elicit an immune response that is protective? Because then when you make a vaccine against these common regions, then that vaccine should be able to protect all the subtypes we are talking about. So that is a science we are actually struggling with. And the interesting bit is that HIV mutates so fast, as opposed to what people were saying about COVID, SARS-CoV-2, or we have Delta, we have Alpha. SARS-CoV-2, COVID is not anywhere near the way HIV mutates. And that's where we have had difficulties getting a vaccine. So the question is right. That is a struggle. So what we are looking for are maybe words I should not be using here, but a vaccine we can call mosaic. You have seen a mosaic pattern, isn't it? Which is a mixture of what? Of many patterns, isn't it? So we want to pick subtype A, subtype D, subtype C, subtype G, all these subtypes, look for consensus and say that now we have a mosaic vaccine that can cover this. That's where now the struggle is. And that is the direction we are actually taking. So that is where the issues are actually are. So HIV-2 is not a problem, all right? If we can nail down HIV-1, we shall have actually solved the major problem, because HIV-2 tends to be, less pathogenic. It progresses very, very slow. But if you can protect against HIV-1, then you'll invariably protect against HIV-2. The other thing that you have brought up the question, one of the major problems with HIV is that when you are infected with HIV, you are infected for life. The virus goes into your genetics and becomes part of your genetic element. So when that cell subdivides, the virus is also subdivides. As opposed to SARS-CoV-2, where we saw 90% of us, what? Survived, isn't it? In fact, many of us got COVID and never developed what? Any disease. So when you recover from any infection, that recovery is what now gives us information to generate a vaccine. Because there's a recovery aspect with that. Recovery is actually mediated by the immune response. So those are some of the things. So I'm just trying to say that maybe to interest the young people, that science is a good thing to, to do. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you very much. Let's give a clap to all our presenters. They have done a good. And now as we wind up, I would like to recognize the students present. Elbergen DEB, stand up please. We see you. Elbergen, are they here? Oh yes, let's give a clap to our students. They have been very faithful. Take a seat. Nairobi Milimani, are you here? Stand up, we want to see you. Very good, let's give a clap to our neighbors. All the way in Machakos, Ukia girls, where? Very good, a clap to the girls, thank you very much. This sounds Machakos, so our girls, Our Lady of Assumption. Very good, a big clap for them. So thank you very much. This is the university. Now you must study and come to the university. You can see the quality of the professors we have around with us and many more. I would like to invite our guests to be upstanding here, and I want to invite Anne Maria. Are you around? Please come over and recognize our guests. Let's just stand here. And the cameraman, where is the cameraman? Here. This is the African way, the University of Nairobi way. We like to recognize our guests. They have done a good job. Kindly reward him. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And now a group photo. Why don't you stand nicely so that we can take a group photo? And Marie, you can be somewhere. Let's give them another big clap. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. They remain available out here. You can ask them any other more pertinent questions. They are available here. Let us direct with them. So thank you very much. We take a short break. After this, we'll be able to come back to continue this. Another very exciting session soon after about 20 minutes break. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Students are remaining behind for a career talk.
Oh, students, career talk. Very interesting career talk. Please, students, remain seated for a career talk right away.
Good to see you guys.
They do like animals they in human form. Body and nobody like work. But you must also live in one job. If not finish them on fight us. If them they run them no big catch up. I know they form say I too righteous. Look on they form say you do like us. You know get the time for the hate and the bad energy. Come on mind on my mind. Make you dance like Popol. Steady clean like broccoli. Steady on my kind, no one care what you want. Telling me, put it on my fantasy. You want to check if my that ain't go wrong. But it ain't wrong. It ain't rush for the plan anymore. Now gonna make my
Thank you.
it rush.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah. Did it rush? Did it rush for the plan?
Yes, to our high school
Beside
students
everybody, it rush.
and the teachers, you're most welcome to the University of Nairobi. I welcome you on behalf of the Dean of Students Office and the Admissions Office. We are going to have a brief session together on career. And because I know this is very important to all of us, we are going to take just very few minutes, and then after that, we are going to allow you to take a walk around the university.
You can't call my face. I jumped in my lane. You know, get the time for the hate and the bad and every come on, mind on. We could dance like already. Steady clean like already. Steady on my kind, no one care what they want, anything to be done like fantasy. But they check it like that, ain't no wrong. But it ain't wrong. It ain't push for the plan anymore. Now gonna make my talk, it ain't wrong. You can't money because, yeah. It ain't wrong. It ain't push for the plan anymore.
Okay, so we are going to continue because we don't have a lot of time, and it's going to be like this. We are going to have a career talk, and we'll be talking about the courses that we offer at the University of Nairobi. And then from there, we'll give you time to interact with the career office and also the admissions office so that you can be able to ask as many questions as possible, because I know this is very important for the teachers and even the students. So you are most welcome for this session. And I'm welcoming you on behalf of the Dean of Students, Mr. Kenywa. Johnson Kenywa is the Dean of Students. He would have loved to be here with you, together with Career Services Officer, Madam Naomi Nyaboga, but they will be joining us from wherever they are. So at this juncture, I would like to invite Mr. Ephraim from the admissions office to take us through this session. And I want us to feel free to ask any questions about the university, about the courses that we offer, because we are here just for you. So karibu sana, Mr. Ephraim.
Thank you very much. Our good students, teachers, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I'm here on behalf of the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Affairs, who is busy elsewhere, and the Academic Registrar. My name is Ephraim, as you've been told. I work in admissions office, where we admit you, students, to this university. And you've been listening to our big boys. I call them big boys. And we want you students, when they exit, you fit in their shoes, isn't it? Right. So I'm here to give you what it takes to come to this university. Okay, this university is headed by the Vice Chancellor, who has two deputies, the Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of academic affairs, and the Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of research. The Academic Registrar is under the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Affairs, and I work in admissions office under the Academic Registrar. So this university has a wide range of degree programs. These degree programs are structured in a way that they are in 10 faculties. These faculties are headed by a dean of a faculty. Now I'll begin by the faculty number 1, which is the Faculty of Agriculture, located in Upper Kabete campus, and it has the following degree programs: Bachelor of Science in Agriculture. We have Bachelor of Science in Agribusiness Management. We have Bachelor of Science in Food Nutrition and Dietetics, Bachelor of Science in Food Science and Technology, and Bachelor of Science in Veterinary Medicine, and Bachelor of Science Range Management, and Bachelor of Science in Fisheries and Aquaculture. In that faculty, there's a requirement of a cluster of subjects if you're supposed to be in that faculty. And the following subjects are considered. You must have passed well in mathematics, in your biology, in your chemistry. Then agriculture would be of an added advantage. Are we together? Yes, those 4 subjects are key in that faculty. I'll move to the next faculty, which is the Faculty of Built Environment. It's just across or along State House Road, which houses the following degree programs. We have Bachelor of Architecture and Architectural Studies. We have Bachelor of Quantity Surveying, Bachelor of Real Estate, Bachelor of Construction Management, Bachelor of Arts and Design, and we have Bachelor of Planning under that faculty. Subjects to be considered are mathematics, physics, very key in that faculty, right? For Bachelor of Arts Design, you must have taken drawing and design as a subject in your school. Are we together up to that point? We move to the next faculty, which is the Faculty of Business and Management Science, which is in Lower Kabete campus, that has programs like Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor of Project Planning and Management. And if you are to be in that faculty, you need to have passed your mathematics very well in high school. Then you need your business studies, English or Kiswahili, then a science or any subject from a group 2, 3, 4, or 5, right? I'll move to the next faculty, which is the Faculty of Education. That is in Kikuyu campus. It's like 21 kilometers from here at the main campus, that has the following programs: Bachelor of Education Arts, Bachelor of Education Early Childhood Education, Bachelor of Education Physical Education and Sports. Then we have Bachelor of Education Science. We have Bachelor of Education ICT. The last two, Education Science and Education ICT, they are housed in Kenya Science Campus along Ngong Road. And for Education ICT, you need to have actually your mathematics and physics. Physics very key in that Education ICT. For Education Science, you need your mathematics and at least 2 sciences. Yeah. Then for Education Arts, you need the languages, mathematics, at least a D+ and above, in order for you to be in that class of Education Arts. We move to the next faculty, which is the Faculty of Engineering. It's just across here. That has the following degree programs. We have Bachelor of Science, Civil Engineering. We have Bachelor of Science, Electrical Engineering, Bachelor of Science, Mechanical Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Geospatial Engineering, and Bachelor of Science in Biosystems engineering. In that faculty, there's a requirement of the 4 subjects, which are mathematics, physics, and chemistry. For biosystems engineering, you need at least the 3 sciences. You must have mathematics, biology, chemistry, and physics if you are to be in that biosystems class. I'll move to the next faculty, which is the faculty of health sciences, that is in Kenyatta National Hospital campus, where we have programs like Bachelor of Medicine and Surgery, Bachelor of Pharmacy, Bachelor of Dental Sciences, Bachelor of Science, Nursing Sciences, and Bachelor of Medical Laboratory Sciences. It also requires a cluster of subjects. These are biology, is subject number 1. You need to have chemistry, subject number 2. Subject number 3 is either mathematics or physics. Then subject number 4, the languages, either English or Kiswahili. I'll move to the next faculty, which is the Faculty of Law. It's in Lower Kabete campus. In that faculty, English is the key subject. You need to have scored at least a B plain and above in English in order for you to be in that faculty. Subject number 2, it can either be your mathematics or a science. Then subject number 3, any from your group 3 subjects. And subject number 4 can either be from group 2, 3, 4, or 5. Right? Then I'll move to the next faculty, which is the Faculty of Science and Technology, that is in Chiromo campus. It houses degree programs like Bachelor of Science in Actuarial Science, Bachelor of Science, Computer Science, Bachelor of Science Meteorology, Bachelor of Science Geology, Bachelor of Science Biology, Bachelor of Science Microbiology. We have Bachelor of Science in Astronomy and Astrophysics. We have Bachelor of Science in Microprocessor Technology and Instrumentation, Bachelor of Science Mathematics, Bachelor of Science Statistics under that faculty. And you need also a cluster of subjects that are required: mathematics, your physics, and chemistry. They're also very key in that faculty. Then the last one would be the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, that is in Upper Kabete, which I had already mentioned. And for veterinary medicine, it also has a cluster of subjects like the human medicine, your biology, your chemistry, mathematics or physics, and English or Kiswahili. Now, to high school students, the minimum entry grade to the universities is a C+. However, that C+ limits you to some degree programs, like the social sciences. But the pure sciences, like the medical school, you need to work extra hard and perform well at your KCSE. A degree program like Bachelor of Medicine and Surgery, you need to have scored at least a mean grade A plane of 83 points and above if you want to be admitted into that class of medicine. Likewise, the Faculty of Engineering, you need also to have performed well and scored at least a mean grade of A minus of 80 points and above in order for you to be in that Faculty of Engineering. Same to the Faculty of Built Environment, you need to have performed well, at least an A minus mean grade and above in order for you to be in that Faculty of Built Environment. In admissions office, we have two modes of admission. One is the module 1 and module 2. Module 1, these are students who come in through the government sponsorship, and module 2, these are the self-sponsored students. For the self-sponsorship, you just apply directly to the university. We have a website, which is www.applications.uonbi.ac.ke. While the module 1, you come in through the Central Placement Service, that is Kenya Universities Colleges Central Placement Service, that admits students to public universities, to universities through the government sponsorship, right? Before we get a cohort of students each academic year, our office, that is the office of the academic registrar, writes to the Central Placement Service declaring a capacity of the students. That's the number of students that we need to admit to this university. We have like around a population of 6,000 students who we admit every year through the government or through the Kenya universities, colleges, and placement service to come to the university. So once we declare that capacity, the Central Placement Service will give us that number of students. After we get that number, we issue online admission letters to our students, and it has a set of rules, or we commonly call it the joining instructions. So students are supposed to fill these joining instructions before they report to campus on the reporting day. After we admit the students, we have a whole week of orientation. We orient our students to the campus, to the facilities that we have around, where the lecture halls are, where the halls of residence are, and everything. After that, the students are given a period of like 3 weeks to do what we call interfaculty transfers. You can change from one course to another within a period of 3 weeks. After that, our students settle down for serious learning. At that point, I think I'll stop there and invite questions on admissions or anything you need clarified. Thank you very much. Anybody with a question? Question time.
So you've mentioned on engineering, one needs to have taken mathematics, physics, and chemistry. Is it that in all these subjects that you've mentioned, one should have gotten exactly an A?
That's a good question. She wants to know whether you should attain an A in all the 4 subjects. I've said in engineering, electrical engineering and civil engineering are the most competitive degree programs in that faculty. So there's a cluster of 4 subjects that you're supposed to meet. That is mathematics, physics, chemistry. Those are key, and any other subject from group 2, 3, 4, or 5. The Central Placement Service, they have a formula of working out how to get what we call the weighted cluster points. So those weighted cluster points are the ones that determine whether you qualify for a particular degree program. So a case example of engineering, you need to have scored at least that strong A- of 80 points. So that formula, 80 points against the cluster points, the 4 subjects clusters, and get the weighted mean. So after that weighted mean is what we call the weighted cluster points that now determine whether you qualify to be in that engineering class. A case and example is a group that is ahead of you that sat for KCSE in the year 2021. The cutoff point for electrical engineering at the University of Nairobi was 42.128. Those are the weighted cluster points, or the cutoff points that's admitted